Welcome back to the Galleria in Hatfield as the Equitable Life Superseries Finals reaches the semi-final stage. The field has narrowed to 4, chasing the $43,000 prize fund. In the first semi we have Jansher, who has produced a bit of a mixed bag in this event. 2 wins and 1 defeat. Has he flattered at times only to deceive? He is up against Nicol, who has dominated his group and this competition so far. 3 matches, 3 victories, not a game dropped. The current number 1 against his illustrious predecessor. Points to prove for both, perhaps? It should be compulsive viewing. Let's see. We join the match at the beginning of the first game.
Well, I'm sure Jonah are in for a wonderful match here. Maybe a little bit earlier than anticipated. Most people would probably feel this might have been the final. But because of Jansher's second place finishing in his group, he's coming up against Nicol a little bit earlier. But both players still have the eye on the title.
And obviously, Chris, to a fascinating psychological struggle, because Nicol did have the better of the matches in the last half of last year. And of course has gone on to displace Jansher as the world number 1. Jansher, having lost that and indeed no longer the world champion, will have come here, I'm sure, absolutely determined to take this field apart, and in doing so, if necessary, to take on and beat Nicol.
If Peter continues to play shots like that, Jansher will really have to show his qualities. But I'm sure when he came off the plane from Pakistan, Jonah, used to going into a squash club and playing in more arena type venues. Here they're met with the fact they're playing in the middle of a shopping centre. Great venue, good for spectators, but it does add another psychological twist to the game. The concentration and the focus of both players often does get tested in these type of conditions.
Well, these are what I would call really modern conditions, in the sense that the professionals have to be prepared to play in all kinds of different circumstances, and certainly those who've played in Pakistan, as indeed you have, know full well that the atmosphere in those courts, in those arenas, is very lively, and whatever difficulties there may be in adapting to the Galleria, I would expect these blokes to, by now already, to be very comfortable in their surroundings.
Well, they've both started off with good consistent shots. Both players looking reasonably steady. Not a lot of movement from both players to the front of the court. And obviously the sounding out stage is happening. And Jansher's got that patient look at the moment. Just as he starts to move the ball around a little bit more. A little bit of an unforced error there though. Had Peter on the end, just tinning it.
Well, it's been an excellent contest throughout this first game. Because the format in semis and final is the best of 5, we've now got the sort of typical searching out in this first game period. Still crucial, but not the sudden death aspect of the best of 3.
And that type of shot, Jonah, is just starting to show that Jansher is getting a little bit more confident with his forward game. He's getting in front a little bit more often. He does look reasonably comfortable taking the ball in.
Well, that was a really good point from Nicol, working the front right-hand corner. Jansher has these bandaged knees. He says they're a little bit sore from the extended amount of training that he has done over the Christmas period in preparation for this event, and of course later on for the British Open.
You just get the feeling that Peter Nicol is very anxious to grab this first game, Jonah. New world number one, wants to convince the public and maybe himself that he deserves to be there. A crashing forehand volley short there from Jansher. Takes him to game ball.
It's a good opportunity for Peter to put it away, but Jansher comfortably returns it. But not the second time. So the game ball saved.
And now 14-all, 103.
Jansher calling set 3, means first player to 17.
Oh, that's a clever bit of work from Jansher. Got his racket right up, could have gone in short, and then biting depth.
15-14.
And now he wishes he called set 1 there, Jonah. Would have given him the first game. But that type of shot really does show that he's in full control of his volleying at the moment. Good position to take the ball forward and deep, as you stated, creating a lot of uncertainty in Peter's mind.
No let.
No let.
No good, Peter. You wouldn't have reached that one.
No let given on that. Judge not capable of reaching the third one. I was quite surprised to see the third shot go in, Chris. He was not really well balanced for it. He put 2 in. Costly. Second game ball for Jansher.
Oh, and sneaky little drop from the back. Sneaks the first game, 17-14. Peter Nicol is noted for his volleying skills, and here we see a couple of contrasting situations. The first one, very early on in the match, good solid position in front of Jansher Khan, clinical finish.
And in the second, we see the position on the backhand side. Ball taken in quite well. Jansher, though, comfortably returning. Second volley going in. Jansher easily there again, and then Peter's volley from a deeper position, off balance and unable to cover.
Well, Jonah, the ball's been thrown back in court, but hopefully that'll be a change of fortune for Peter, because Jansher really has taken a stranglehold in this second game. He's controlling the pace, the tempo, and he's starting to really look like he's on a mission here.
Yes, lad.
Yes, let. 10-3.
Yes, and I think the way he's tempered the normally quicker pace that
11.
these two have played at in their most recent matches, and one would have to say, and that has probably been to Jansher's disadvantage. In this match, he has had less very positive control at a slower pace, and he's felt much more comfortable. And there we saw an excellent example of Peter Nicol picking up the pace around the middle of the court, having got an opening, and whipping a cross-court volley in.
But again, Jansher bites back, Jonah, with cross-court lob. And really it's lots of drops and lobs and push volleys. And finished off with lovely touch there on the forehand side.
And out.
You can clearly see that every opportunity he's looking to take the pace off it, asking Peter to hit dead weight balls, which we all know is extremely tiring and difficult to do.
And it certainly does seem as if the pace of the court is much better suited to what Jansher wants to do.